Well, hi there. I'm Grant Stinchfield in for Colion Noir. This is CN Live right here on NRATV. It always amazes me how ungrateful people can be. Now, imagine if you should have been given the death sentence, but a judge gives you 35 years. You should be grateful. Now, imagine you get that 35 years and then you have a president that loves to aid and abet our enemies here in the United States, and he commutes your sentence. So no longer is it 35 years, but it's just a few years that you had to serve. You think you would be grateful. Well, this is a story of Bradley Manning, the transgender traitor that released 750,000 top secret documents to WikiLeaks that put so many of our American service members at risk. They put our intelligence community at risk. We had United States ambassadors that had to come back home because their lives were at risk. He exposed troop movements in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. This was the height of being a traitor. In fact, what Bradley Manning did, and I refuse to call him Chelsea Manning, by the way, what Bradley Manning did was treasonous. And treasonous, for as long as I can remember, was paid with the penalty of death. He didn't get that. In fact, now he goes scot-free. And Barack Obama sent a message to everyone out there that wants to harm the United States that apparently, in his eyes, it's okay. Well, good riddance to Barack Obama, but this was Barack Obama's parting shot to the American people. Bradley Manning comes out and writes in the Guardian newspaper over in England that Barack Obama wasn't a good president. He writes that Barack Obama wasn't progressive enough and that we need more progressive policies in the United States. Where does Bradley Manning get off? And I'm just amazed that here's a guy that gives him the gift of a lifetime, no pun intended, and he spits in Barack Obama's face. This guy is dirt. Bill Whittle back with us. Bill, your reaction.
Where do you start? I think the thing that I find most upsetting about this is that when Bradley Manning was arrested, he decided that he was going to be Chelsea Manning, and he applied for and received sex change therapy, which was paid for by you and me. So let's just make sure we have these priorities straight with the Obama administration. We're going to have a known traitor. We're going to let them, basically going to put them in prison. We're going to pay for their sex change operation. Then we're going to commute their sentence and let them go. When I think about the number of veterans who've served so honorably in this country and who are out there with all kinds of wounds, missing arms and legs and so on, the idea that money and resources would go to perform a sex change operation on a traitor like this, you just don't know what to say about that, Grant. You just kind of run up against the brick wall of disgust and disbelief. But the worst thing here is this. Coming on the heels of the Hillary Clinton emails and the incredible security breach that entailed, you are now in a situation where how do you prosecute intelligence leaks going forward? How? What do you do? We've already seen 2 or 3 people with minor offenses. Some guy took a thumb drive home by accident or something, and he's going to get 3 or 4 years. And he says, well, the Secretary of State has done 3,000 times this, and she walked completely scot-free.
Yeah, and then you have a man who took a selfie inside a nuclear submarine, shouldn't have done it, but they throw the book at him.
Yeah, what do you say about that? I'm sure, I have no doubt, and I'm not kidding about this, if that guy who took that selfie on board the nuclear sub had applied for a sex change operation, or was a Muslim, or was some other one of these victim groups that the White House is so in love with, then he would have not only not gotten discipline action, he probably would have made the captain of the submarine. You know, this is where their values are, and I don't think this is accidental. I think that the last 8 years have been a direct, intentional, ongoing effort to weaken the United States military by every means possible. That means smaller budgets, less procurement, older weapons, but mostly, Grant, it means forcing warriors out of the service, putting conditions on them they simply cannot bear.
Bill, consider this. I never thought in my lifetime I would ever come to the conclusion that we had an American president who actually wanted to harm the safety and security of the American people. This is a man that traded Taliban fighters for Bo Bergdahl. He sent these Taliban fighters back to the battlefield. This is a president who made a deal with Iran that will put this nation in danger. It will put our allies, Israel, in danger. Many people think that Iran's biggest enemy is Israel. Iran's biggest enemy is not Israel. Iran's biggest enemy is the United States of America. And then as a parting shot, what does Barack Obama do? He commutes the sentence of Bradley Manning, who put so many people at risk. I do believe that the traitor here in all of this was the former president of the United States, Barack Obama.
Categorically, and when you say something like this to a liberal and say, that the man is actively moving against American interests, he says that's insane, that's crazy. You list these kind of things, and then you get to the point, Grant. You say, if he was in fact a Muslim agent, what would he have done differently? I can't see he would have done anything differently. I can't see that he would have done anything differently than what he did. So the damage this guy's done is absolutely, absolutely catastrophic. And the commutation and so on, all of these signs are things that have to be addressed, and it seems like President Trump is getting on them relatively quickly.
Yeah, I think President Trump will address this. It is clear he's got to get his people into these intelligence agencies so he can know what is real and what is not coming out of there, because I do think there is somewhat of a war, mostly from top brass inside those agencies, against Trump. I think he can get that handled in quick order. Hey, I wanted to ask you before this show ends, and it's been a great time on here filling in for Colion, I will say that. Chelsea Handler comes out and says some pretty mean things about Melania Trump, talking about how she doesn't know how to speak English. Why would she give another speech? You can't understand her. Is there going to be an interpreter there? What do you make of this? I will first say that Chelsea Handler, I didn't even know she was still had a show on Netflix. I thought she was long gone. I hadn't heard her name in years. So I guess this puts her back in the limelight. Maybe it got exactly what she wanted, but this is par for the course when it comes to these liberal entertainers.
My understanding is that Melania Trump speaks 6 languages, and Chelsea Handler doesn't even really speak one very well, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, I'll just come right out and say it. I'm surrounded by these people all the time. I'm surrounded by actors and a lot of celebrities. You cannot imagine how self-centered they are. It's simply unbelievable to the average person how self-centered and narcissistic they are. I think Chelsea Handler said it because Melania Trump is so much better looking than she is. I don't think she can handle it. It's not just the looks, by the way, Grant. When she came out on Inauguration Day in that powder blue outfit, it took a lot of breaths away. People thought, my God, this is actual glamour, and that's not possible because she's a Republican, and we can't have that, God knows. So all of this is virtue signaling. All of this is them showing their friends what incredible brave warriors they are by standing up to the Nazi death machine. I'm going to say something mean about the president's first lady. What a hero.
I think it actually goes beyond just the fact that Melania is prettier than Chelsea Handler. The truth is, there was a day Chelsea Handler was pretty cute. That wasn't really her problem. Funniness is her problem. She's just not that funny anymore. There was a time when she actually was funny at times, too. She's not anymore. I do believe that she doesn't like the freedoms that we have here in America. She doesn't understand the liberties that so many people gave their lives for, and she looks at someone like Donald Trump who wants to put power back in the people's hands, and it scares her to death because she thinks that the government knows better than all of us do. She thinks the government is going to keep her safe from all of us, when in reality, she does nothing to keep herself safe.
Correct. And she will look at all this stuff that we talk about, like honor and the Constitution and all the rest, and think it's just some kind of quaint thing that certain lunatics hang on the wall. She's protected by these values every day, but she mocks them because she doesn't understand them. People like this have an incredible difficulty with reality. They don't want to face it. One of the reasons people go into the show business in the first place is because reality is just not very satisfying to them. Most actors have pretty weak personalities. They want to become actors because it gives them a chance to be somebody else. These statements by people like Chelsea are their way of showing everybody that they're very deep, that they're very intelligent, that they're very, 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 very good moral people. And mostly they're just looking for attention, Grant. Yeah. They're used to being listened to, and they're not anymore.
Yep, they're not. Unfortunately, those statements backfire on organizations like NRATV because it makes her look like a big dope. Bill Whittle, thank you. As always, it's great to talk to you. Great conversation. We'll see you on my show tomorrow, noon Central Time, right here on NRATV. Thanks, Bill.
Looking forward to it.
All right, you got it. Hey, folks, thank you so much for watching. It was a great pleasure to fill in for Colion Noir on CN Live. As I said, you can watch me top of every hour, 9 to 1 Eastern Time, right here on NRATV. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for watching.